Hello, welcome back to Blue and Red Meeple Board Games. My name is Jenny, and today we're going to talk about Wandering Towers. This is a really fun 1 to 6 player game. It has 10 plus as the age, but I think someone younger could probably play. And it takes about a half hour. It's a pretty quick game, and even with the higher player counts, you use a smaller number of wizards, so that doesn't make it take longer. So it's a great game if you're looking for something that you can play with a lot of people, that has a lot of interaction, but that isn't going to take a lot of time. So basically, the game is you're trying to get all of your wizards into the Raven's Keep, fill all of your potions before another player. So the board is very simple. There are 4 little pieces that are puzzle pieces you put together to create the little map. There's a spot marked for the Raven's Keep. And then each of these towers, you can see there's some that have the Raven's symbol, which is same as on the player marker, and then some that don't. So for setup, you're just going to alternate. So the first one will have the Raven's Keep symbol, and then not. So you're just going to alternate all the way until you have laid them all. The number of wizards and the number of potions each player starts with depends on the player count. The more players, the fewer you will have. So in this example, it's a 2-player game, so everyone starts with 5 wizards and 6 potions. So this is an empty potion, and then when it's full, it's going to have your color in it. To start, the first player is going to lay their first meeple on the first tower. So the first 3 towers, on the little map piece under them, it indicates the number of wizards that can go in each space. So the first 3 hold 3, and then the next 3 hold 2, and the last 3 hold 1. Now we're not going to be using, a bunch of these because we only have 2 players. So it'll just alternate. So then the yellow player lays 1, and then the blue. So now there's 3. So now we have to move on to the next one, and it's yellow's turn. So they'll lay a yellow, I'll lay a blue, and then they'll lay a yellow. So that's 3. So then blue starts, yellow, blue. And so that's 3. Yellow has 1 more, so they get to move on to this space. This is one that would hold 2 meeples or wizards, but there aren't any left, so that'll just have 1. And that's how it would go. If we're playing with 6 players, we would end up going all the way to the end using all of the wizards. Each player starts out with 3 cards, and the cards have the actions that you can do, either for moving the towers or for moving your wizards. So in this card, you can see there's just a dice symbol. There isn't a number. So you can have the option of either moving your tower or moving your wizard, and you're going to roll for that number. And there is only 1 die, which means you only get 1 roll. The really nice thing about these is that you don't have to declare if you're moving a tower or the wizard until you've rolled. So you get to wait to see what number you got to decide what you're going to do. So if this was my turn and I was going to use this one, I would roll the die. I got a 5. So I can choose to either move a tower or a wizard. So if you're going to move a wizard, you would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would discard and then draw up so that you always have 3. So then if the second player was going to play, maybe they wanted to use this card. Now this one, their only option is to move a wizard, but they have 3 dice, which means they get to roll, and then they have 2 rerolls. But I think in this case, they're just going to move the tower 2. So they would move 1, 2. Now here, it's really important. You want to pay attention to who's getting imprisoned under here because you don't get to peek. So they're going to cover up those meeples, discard, and redraw. Now, because they imprisoned some wizards, and it doesn't matter how many, it counts as 1, they get to fill one of their potions. So they're going to flip it to the full side. Now, there's an important reason for filling the potions, and not just because you need to by the end of the game, but that is how you get to use spells. So before you start, you're going to choose some spells that you're going to use for the game. Now, the game does recommend 2 specific ones to start with, but as I said before, it's a really easy game, so there's no reason you couldn't choose whichever ones you want. And you can choose any number of them. The more that you choose is going to give you more strategy in the game. So for example, this one, if you pay 2 potions, you can move one of your wizards counterclockwise, so backwards 1 space. Or this one, if you pay 1 potion, you can move any tower back 2 spaces. This one allows you, for 2 potions, to move the Raven's Keep 1 space either backwards or forward. Now, if the Raven's Keep was here, it would have to be the next open space, which would mean it would move all the way over here to the spot where there were not any wizards. That one can be very helpful as well. And then I'll just go over one more. This one, for 2 potions, you can swap 2 top towers. Top towers from 2, if that makes any sense. And you can see there are a lot more, which is going to add a lot more, just a lot more options, and it's going to change up each game if you're going to change up the spells that you use. So again, in this case, I just have the 4. So now this player has one potion that they can use. Now they could use it now. You can use it anytime on your turn. However, it makes more sense to wait till a little more when it's advantageous, so that maybe you can get one into the Raven's Keep, or block someone else from doing so. All right. So then, if it's my turn, I'll look at this one. This one I can move a wizard 3 spaces or a tower 3 spaces, and I think I am going to move a tower 3 spaces. So when you're moving a tower that is stacked, I'll redraw it now, you can move just the top one or all of them. Keep in mind, you cannot pick one up and then decide you want the whole thing, because you can't peek at what is underneath. Now, anytime in the game, you can look and see what's in the Raven's Keep, but you cannot peek to see what's under towers. So I'm going to move the whole thing 1, 2, 3. So now I have imprisoned my own. So I got to try to remember I've got one there, and I know I have some under here. So I get to fill one of my potions. Now, if the next player was going to move here, they've got a really nice one. They only have the option to move a wizard, but they have 3 dice, which means they get to roll. And then if they want, they have 2 rerolls. So if they don't like the first roll, they have 2 more chances. So here we rolled a 6. Okay, I think 6 is probably good. So it's just deciding where to move. And that's moving a wizard. So that was yellow's turn. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I redraw. Now, just for gameplay's sake, we'll say it's back to yellow's turn, and say they had a card where they get to move into the Raven's Keep. So they would move 1, 2, 3, drop it in. Anytime you drop a wizard into the Raven's Keep, you have to move the Raven's Keep to the nearest spot with that raven symbol, which means it's going to move over here. So now you can see it's going to add a little bit of craziness, because someone may have been really close and you think, okay, I only need a 2 and I can drop it in there, but now it's moved over to here. And so now yellow here's got a great advantage, and they've got 2 over here. So you can see it's constantly changing where you need to get the meeples, and then using spells, you're going to move different directions. It's a really fun game. There's going to be a lot of table talk. People, are always going, what? They get covered up, and then you're going to forget. As hard as you try to remember where your meeples are, like at the moment, I know what I've got, but then you're going to be concentrating on other things and moving other things, and stacks are going to get moved, and you will forget. So that always becomes fun. And then towards the end, when you're trying to think, okay, now where's my guy? Do I want to lift the top one? Do I want to move the whole thing? I'm pretty sure I have one underneath on the bottom, because there can also be some down here. And so you might think, okay, I know where it is. And then you move it and you realize you were completely wrong. So it's really a fun game to play. And I would definitely recommend playing it with higher player counts if you can. But I have also played it with 2, and I enjoyed that as well. So solo 1, and as a group of 6. One thing about solo, the difference there is you'll have 12 meeples. Colors don't matter. You pick whatever 12 you want. So there the object is to get into the Raven's Keep using as few of these action cards as you can. And I'm not very good at it. I think the goal is to only use 30 cards or less, and I don't think I've even come close to that yet. I will just go over a couple more of the cards. So you can see sometimes you'll only have, one option to move a wizard. And then other times you'll have, the option of moving multiple. And this is one where you roll again. I think the highest number you move is 5. So this one you can move a tower 1 or a wizard 5 spaces. So that is Wandering Towers in a nutshell. It's a really fun game, and I would recommend, if you have the opportunity, to definitely play it. So until next time, keep playing games, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Goodbye.